think first and foremost, Africa is an opportunity. It is 54 countries. You've got to realize that, and you've got to look at where to go. But then there's Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, West Africa, North Africa, and Central Africa, and 5 regions, 5 regional economic communities. Overall, I think when people in Europe look at Africa, they look at the GDP figures and say, fine, too small, too small, too small. I think the Belgian GDP is probably equal to the whole African continent. So when they look at those figures, they say insignificant. Therefore, when you talk about big corporates, they say, hang on, not significant at all. However, not significant at all today. Look at it from a long-term perspective. Look at it from 10, 20 years from today. And I think that's where the opportunity lies to say long-term. Number 2 is not having a short-term stint to say, I'm a CEO for 5 years. I got to look at this thing and say, fine, make some money in 5 years. It's not going to happen. I think it's going to be longer term. And that's where the Chinese are coming and saying, we want to be here for 20, 30 years, building railways, building a lot of stuff. Opportunity exists. I think it's all about who comes in and who takes it up. But Africa is open for business. I think governments are changing rapidly, and these changes are not reversible. A lot of people try and favor it and say Zimbabwe or whatever. I think stop focusing on those simple countries because they have some leaders who will sell by dates over. So I think the question is, where is the next future, the next frontier? I think there's a big frontier coming. If you don't see the opportunity, you can actually stay in Europe.
Rebecca.
I'll make it shorter.
No.
Europe needs Africa. Our demographics, we need to work together. We're neighboring continents, and our demographics are not going in a great direction. We need jobs. We need to fill jobs here as well. So I think the only path is together, and it's a great continent to work with. It's wonderful people. It's a lot of fun, and much more interesting than working with Africa than with Russia, for example. And I hope there are Russians in the audience, but just in terms of ease and of common respect.
Mr. Gattaz.
I would say that Africa is the next big thing, and we absolutely need to have a big program for Europe, for Africa, building it with a win-win, balanced partnerships. I insist on that, through business, SMEs, for the young people, young Africans, because it's half of the population, through entrepreneurship too, very important, and through a kind of educations. As we said, there's a tactical job with services, so you don't need too much education. You need the sales and so on. And you need, if you want to build planes in Africa within 30 years, you will need apprentices, you will need technicians, you will need engineers, and you will need searchers. And I think this is the 2 things that we have to be developed is, of course, education, but low education for the people, you know, for tactical jobs, I would say, and high education in any case, plus the fact that the digital revolution will help to create this new type of educations on mobiles with the MOOCs and so on. So digital is a very interesting technology to help Africa to develop.